Is AI actually going to take your software engineering job? Because famous vibe coders claim programmers are done in 2026. The truth is, it will make the best ones even more valuable. I've spent 1.2 billion tokens on Cursor in the last 6 months on real production code. And while it's absolutely mind-blowing how good it is, backend engineers who use it in a very specific way will thrive. In this video, I will break down how AI is changing the industry in 2026 and what specifically you need to do to not only stay relevant, but become irreplaceable. Did anything really change in 2025? Look, every normal engineer I know is using AI, using it every day. It's just stupid to say otherwise. But here are some facts about how AI is impacting real engineering teams according to research. AI is allowing for 40–50% faster initial code generation, but this creates a productivity paradox where review and debugging costs negate most gains. AI code has 1.7 times more bugs and 1.4 times more critical security issues than human written code. That means humans are still very much in the loop. Here are 2 different stories from this year of me personally using AI and a critical lesson from each of them. So I've joined a startup where backend and frontend were pretty much vibe coded. Backend was done by a very experienced software engineer plus AI. When I joined, I really got that full fantastic experience of getting onboarded on a vibe coded project, implementing new features that more often than not required a major refactor that took all of my resources, and AI wasn't able to help with that at all. When the codebase was organized and cleaned up, AI started to help with designing and implementing features in a very supervised way. I still often code with my hands, I review every line, I iterate on plans for as long as half an hour to get it right. Every day AI does and suggests something that would greatly decrease the quality of the product if left untouched. It is not able to make good design decisions according to business needs and requirements. Then the front-end engineer joined and his feedback was something like, "Oh my god, not again." The guy literally said his specialty now is refactoring vibe-coded repos. AI makes you really fast at dropping quality. And it doesn't make your job easier. It's way harder to move fast with quality. Let's move to the next story. The country where I live is in a war, so I tried to apply for a UAV engineer role this year. They gave me this test exercise to create a program that operates a drone's engines remotely, driving it to a specific location on the map. So I knew absolutely nothing about that field and how to do any of that, so I tried vibe coding it with Cursor and Sonnet 4.5 model, and you know what it did? It produced garbage and distracted me from thinking. But when I focused and spent 11 hours at night, I got it working. AI is very capable at being a crud monkey, but that kind of engineer has never been hard to find. It can help you solve a hard problem, but can easily distract you from thinking with your brain. And this is the only irreplaceable power you have as an engineer. Anyway, here is what I ultimately think of coding with AI after doing it for a year. Software doesn't just exist. It has quality behind it. And you feel it every day. When you launch Slack, for example, you just feel something is wrong with it, right? That's quality. It stinks there. There are 3 dimensions of software quality: user experience, developer and AI experience, and security. And here is how unsupervised vibe coding affects your project's quality over time. Not going to lie, it's amazing at creating real working toy versions of products insanely fast, but then the quality starts dropping rapidly. And when it's time to go live, it becomes practically impossible to work with it. AI often ignores failures, removes tests, creates patches and hacks instead of building an extendable pattern. The scaling phase of this timeline wouldn't be even reached at all. And you know what? That's where the best companies are anyway. Successful businesses need quality products, not just working ones. Fast, cheap products are solved now. But I hope that's not what you were doing. Now here is where tech industry is moving in 2026 and following years. For a long time, coding was a pretty unique job that didn't require being a master to make a lot of money. That is going away very rapidly. Programming finally matures and becomes a normal industry where top talent gets everything and average doesn't exist anymore. That is how it works everywhere else. All the best doctors, lawyers, salespeople are getting the most leverage. They are hunted by companies who are willing to pay insane money for them. Everyone else is struggling. This is coming to tech now because professionals and seniors are getting a massive boost to their ability to impact business. And if you drive a lot of revenue, you are going to get a big chunk of it. Average engineers will not be able to provide any value, so it's going to get even more competitive for them. So what should you do in 2026? Because if you don't set a clear plan of actions, this pressure from outside will destroy your career. You need to decide what you're doing right now. Are you learning or are you executing? And by the way, if you consider yourself middle and below, you are learning even on the job. So if you're executing, first use AI to avoid typing, not thinking. And here is why. Nobody talks about it for some reason, but AI-assisted coding is making you dumber if you don't explicitly fight it. So if you want to continue to be relevant in today's world, at the minimum, you cannot afford to get worse. Second, AI is still a tool and you have the responsibility of the output you produce, no matter what you're using to produce it. So you can't let AI make decisions that can ruin your company. And last, AI is bad at translating business intent into design decisions. You know how things should be structured and you know what's coming next. It doesn't. With these improvements to coding workflow, the image of a great software engineer is entirely different. And even if you are very talented, you need to fit into expectations of the industry to be seen as a valuable asset. Specialists were insanely valuable before, but now who really needs a QA engineer anymore? Postgres engineer, WordPress developer? I mean, yes, I'm sure there are companies that still pay those people, but awesome engineer is now expected to be good in depth and width. Depth being very solid understanding of CS fundamentals, knowing how internals of tools like programming languages and databases work, and architectural patterns and the best practices for different situations. Your knowledge has to go very deep because you have to review like 3 times as much code now. For that, you need to be able to judge what's good and what's bad fast. The second thing is width, and it consists of communication and presentation skills and business awareness. This is vital now because AI has promoted all engineers to leads, but almost none of us are ready for it. Now, here's what I think of using AI when learning. I've continuously heard people saying that the skill of using these new tools is going to be a differentiator between good and bad software engineers. I'm sorry, but what skill are you even talking about? We are software engineers. Like I know how to write assembly. Typing spawn 10 sub-agents into a prompt input bar is not even a skill. My grandma can do that. I think you forget who you are. You are the bleeding edge of the entire world of technology for over 60 years now. Typing prompts is not a differentiator. Your judgment is. So ditch AI and write tons of code for interesting, complicated projects by hand. Build foundation, because no matter how much more productive AI can make you, 0 times anything is still 0. And remember, the less truly great software engineers there are, the more demand for each of them. If you want to become a successful backend engineer, check out this video where I talk about common mindset of all the best software engineers I've ever met in my entire life. Bye.